Love is War is one of the best anime ever made. I never expected to watch a romance anime that is this good, with its incredible characters that I care about. With all the situations they end up in, and just seeing them interact to one another is so special, and it keeps every single episode refreshing and enjoyable. And with all the episodes of the anime, there was only one that stood out to me. It was an episode that I never expected from an anime like this, and that was Season 2, Episode 11. It was probably one of the best episodes of an anime I have ever seen. Forget all the other animes, because this one right here is something that is so unique. I've never seen an anime that did something like this before. The episode is so special to me, I just had to discuss its greatness. Before I get into it, if you have never seen Love is War, I really recommend it because 1, it is a masterpiece of a show, and 2, I'm going to spoil one of the most important and best episodes of the show. So I really recommend you to watch the show first, but if you don't, then I don't really care, it's not my choice. The whole episode is based on one of the main crew of characters, Yu Ishigami. He's the treasurer of the student council, and is normally quite the introverted type and tends to keep to himself. He's a very likable character by having many of the best moments of the show, by over-exaggerating simple situations and having some of the funniest scenes. His personality is very lovable and is a character that I can relate to in many ways, as I think it did with many others. As this episode is based on him, he develops so much more throughout the course of the show, and it's in a way I didn't expect. The episode starts off with a sports festival. It's all great, people are cheerleading, races are happening, Ishigami's in a dress, it's all great. But then it suddenly completely changes when Ishigami hears a certain person and it all goes downhill from there. This hits hard as it goes from a cheerful sports festival to a much darker theme. The screen begins to blur as Ishigami starts to doubt the person he is and starts to give up on himself. This moment was a surprise since it gets into Ishigami's backstory and you start to learn why many people of his year began to hate him. It also reveals why Ishigami is the way he is. In his backstory, it shows that he starts to appreciate a girl named Otomo, someone that always gave him the time of day just out of her kindness. It was something Ishigami wasn't used to, so he wanted to keep her happy for what she did for him. Later, he finds out that Otomo has a boyfriend called Ogino. Normally at times like these, Ishigami would get jealous at couples that crossed his path, but this time, he just wanted Otomo to be happy. But soon after, Ishigami found out that Ogino cheated on her. When he found out, he went to discuss to Ogino to stop cheating on her to prevent Otomo from getting hurt, but Ogino didn't want to stop being with other girls. He ended up trying to manipulate Ishigami into keeping him quiet by using his girlfriend to bargain with him. And right after that, Ishigami starts to beat him repeatedly as many classmates watched it take place. This scene is such a shock to me, as you never see Ishigami really behave in this way. He's normally quiet and never likes to draw too much attention to himself, but in this scene, he doesn't seem to care about the people around him or what he's doing. But as he keeps punching the lights out of Ogino, all the other classmates look down on Ishigami, calling him a freak for what he did to Ogino, as none of them thought of Ogino as a bad person, especially Otomo, who witnessed what went down. Ishigami was panicked and in a state of confusion, as he thought what he did was right. After the incident, many classmates hated Ishigami for what he did, and soon after he got suspended for the actions he made and wouldn't be let back in until he writes a letter of apology. This whole moment was so damn serious from a series that is normally light-hearted by making jokes about man whores and boob sizes and other dumb topics, which made this moment feel a lot more different compared to how most episodes of the series are like. While Ishigami was suspended, he refused to write a letter of apology. As he regretted what he did, he could never apologize to somebody like him. He spent most of his days alone in his room trying to figure out what to do with the letter. As time went by, he even tried to expose Ogino for what he did but failed due to a lack of courage. When Ishigami lost all hope, a person showed up at his door to bring that hope back to him. He explained to Ishigami that he was successful in helping Otomo, with Ogino breaking up with her days after, as he was paranoid as Ishigami never sent him a letter of apology even after the incident months ago. As for Otomo, she transferred to a different school. This heartwarming moment of Ishigami finally being relieved from the pain he suffered for so long, as he bursts into tears knowing that he doesn't have to suffer anymore. The whole scene really got to me, from him hiding his secret to keep Otomo safe, and even regretting the past mistake he made, and finally being put at ease within a second, really got to my emotions. And I feel embarrassed even saying this, but I did cry. I honestly never thought I would cry at a show like this, but it proved me wrong and I am so glad that it did. I've seen many animes in my time, but there's never been one that made me cry. Sure, there are many animes I've seen which made me feel many emotions, but I've never got to the point where I would cry. Not till now. This moment was just so powerful, it struck a chord with me and it played with my emotions. I really could not help but cry. Right after the scene it goes back to a sports festival, where Ishigami's going to compete in a race, where now he wants to prove himself and everyone that he isn't a failure. From remembering that moment in his room he regains his courage to try and achieve something, and not to look back on his past failures. With all the hope he has of finally attempting to win at something in life, he still fails. A time when he tried not to be a failure still ended up in him not succeeding. And after he lost all hope and felt like giving up completely, his friends came to still congratulate him, even though he lost. He suddenly realizes that it's not about always needing to win, it's about people that are there to support him through the hard times. He saw firsthand that normal people can be genuinely nice. This episode was one of the best, most heartwarming, most emotional episodes I've ever seen. It's an episode about regretting the past and being unable to forgive yourself for it, for knowing what he did caused other people harm, and always feeling like you're a constant failure, unable to succeed in even the slightest of things. But there are always going to be people that will help along the way to give a brighter future. This episode was outstanding. It did a lot to really make me like it, even the smaller things, such as making many of the characters throughout the episode have no eyes. Now I know this happens a lot in anime, where they would just give the characters no eyes, whether it's because they're far away or they just can't be bothered to, I guess. But in this episode it has a meaning. It shows that Ishigami is unaware of his surroundings because he's too much in his head thinking about the past, that even one moment he completely forgets what team he is on.
Am I Team Red or Team White?
Then towards the end of the episode, after he finally opens his eyes, he can see everybody clearly. As he says,
It's amazing how much a view can change once you have your eyes open.
That line even got to me, and I start to get even more emotional. This is how much the episode got to me, that even a single line can catch me off guard. And the music, oh, the music. The whole way through, the music can just get to me so much and make every moment even more powerful. Therefore, this is one of the best anime episodes of all time. Within such a small amount of time, it does so much right with the characters and what it builds up from that. If you have not seen this episode, I really do recommend it, even if you don't enjoy Love is War. It is very different from anything else you see in the series, and it really is something I come back to now and again because I just can't get enough of it. Even reading panels of the manga, it gives it more of a darker tone than usual. So to sum it up, go watch Love is War. It's really good, trust me.